Hello, Tom.
Hi, Stella.
It's been a long time.
It sure has. Our
So
lives have taken a
yeah.
turn. No,
Listen,
I'm just kidding.
I'm really glad that you're doing this. I think you have a lot to offer and to share with people. I'm so
hmm
excited that I'm finally talking to you after so many years.
Well, same here. I hope I can reach somebody with my story.
I
It
think
still
you
gets
can.
me emotional sometimes because it's I'm still healing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, let's start from the beginning. Tell everybody where you're from.
All right, my name is Jerlisa Tong. I'm from Arizona, originally from the Navajo Nation. I was born and raised on the reservation for approximately 19 years of my life. And I was born in Shiprock, New Mexico. And I joined the Navy when I was like 19. And that's where I met you in Italy.
Yeah, yeah, and those were good times, huh?
Oh my God. Our tweezer stories. No, just kidding.
We've got some stories involving tweezers and stuff, and wine bottles.
And a broken wine bottle. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
sitting on the
definitely.
steps. How sad. But it was fun.
Exactly. The
I
things
have
that you do when
I
you're
have
young.
three kids. I know, right? I have three kids, two girls and a boy. My oldest, Nani, she's 19 now. My second oldest, Ashton, he's 18. He's in college. He's going to school to become a registered nurse, and he's straight A student. My youngest, Ashanti, is 17. She's still a senior in high school, and she's also very smart. She's taking AP classes and stuff. I'm very proud of all my kids.
Wow, congratulations, Tom. That's amazing.
I know, right? With my crazy track record, I'm surprised I could even raise kids. No, I'm just kidding.
So let's go back again. What made you want to join the Navy?
Well, I didn't really want to join the Navy. I was just at home after high school. I wasn't doing much. True story. I was I was a bootlegger on the res for a little bit. I used to sell alcohol, and I was like, "This is not cool." So my mom was like, if you don't know what you're gonna do in life pretty soon, she's like, I'm gonna marry you off." So I was like, "That's not cool, Mom."
What? Is that a joke or is that something they
Yeah,
actually do?
she was actually considering it. And I was like, "You can't do that." I was like, "That's like old timey stuff." She's like, "No." She's like, "We found somebody," and I was like, "That." I was like, "Never mind." So I was like, "I'm gonna join the military," and I did.
Was it going to be to like some old pervy dude or something, or what's going on?
I don't know. I don't know, but it was probably more like a threat. Like I was just at home, not doing anything,
Yeah,
just being a
she
little
wanted you to get off your
bum.
butt.
So yeah, she did. I'm glad she did. And I wouldn't have been able to meet all the amazing people I've met, like you and Jill, and I wouldn't have traveled all over Europe and got to meet some amazing people. You know, see that side of the world and live overseas. It was culture shock for me actually because I was so
Because you grew
used
up
to
on the
just
res,
seeing so
right?
many brown faces. hmm
Yeah.
I did go off the reservation for like a few years. I went to school up in Utah. It was like a Mormon church thing. It's called the
Mm-hmm.
Lamanite Generation Placement Program or whatever, where they place us with foster kids or
Oh,
foster
okay.
parents.
Okay.
And my first year there, my freshman year, I got placed. But now that I think back on it now, I was placed with a racist lady. She was Mormon, and she wasn't very keen on having a brown face in her family, and she was just really mean to me.
What? Like, what kind of things did she do?
Like she would just say things out the side of her neck or whatever about what we ate. She was like, "Oh, that's too fatty. That's not what we serve here. This is what we serve here." And that's too it's gluttonous or gluttony or whatever. And I was like, it's just
Oh,
true. This is
okay.
what I was raised on. And
Right.
and she was just rude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the second year, my sophomore year, I got placed with the different foster family. They were just so nice. They were the nicest family that I've ever met.
Do you still keep in touch
And
with them?
sometimes I do, but I haven't talked to them in a long time. But they were really nice to me. They excluded or not excluded. They included me in everything, and I just felt like a part of the family. And I felt comfortable enough to call them mom and dad. And they're there were the Warbies in Logan, Utah,
Uh-huh.
and I I I enjoyed living there, but it was my fault that I got kicked out of the program because I decided to follow my friends to the mall one day, and I didn't know that they were shoplifting, and they got caught, and I got caught with them, but wasn't stealing anything, and I didn't know that they had stole stuff, but
Yeah, you were guilty by
we were all taken.
association.
Yeah, we were all taken by the security guard into the back, and I was like, "What's going on?" I was so scared, and they're
And
like,
how old are
"Well,
you at this point?
I was 17."
Okay, 17. And were
Yeah.
you drinking or anything at this time?
Oh no, I wasn't drinking. I was just being rebellious.
Okay. Okay.
And I moved back to the res, and that's when I started probably drinking. Was like around my senior year. My mom and I never got along, so
Okay.
I moved
And where's
out
your
my
dad
senior
in all
year, and
this?
I just. My dad was there. By now, they've been separated for quite a while now because they got divorced when I was like in fifth grade, fifth or sixth grade, and it was very traumatic because I was a daddy's girl,
Oh.
and it was just very, very new to me. And I miss my dad, and I just wish everything would just come back together. And I think that's where I was just being rebellious, just wanting to take off and not wanting to be with my mom. Plus, my mom was still drinking; she was an alcoholic. Both my parents were. That's what my dad died from cirrhosis and kidney
Yeah.
failure.
My mother too. She passed away in January of 2018. Same thing. And then I lost my
No,
uncle
I'm
about
sorry.
4 or 5 months after that.
Yeah. So there's like a long history of alcoholism in my family.
Yeah. Same
And
here.
for me, when I lost my dad, when we were like doing change of home port or whatever, I found out my dad had passed away in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, when you guys came over from
And
Norfolk to La Maddalena?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So, so when we got to Spain, I was the first one off the ship, and everybody in deck department and like everybody on the ship, they all put money together for me and um, gave me like an envelope of money. I didn't open it until I got here back to
Right.
the States, and it was like over $3,000. It was just
Wow.
really overwhelming, the support that they gave me and stuff.
Right.
And it was a
Well, that
game
must have felt
changer
great,
because I
right?
was just, yeah. At the same time, it was just like just really sad and depressed. Anyway, long story short, I came back here. We buried my dad, and I found out that I was pregnant, but I lost my baby. I had a miscarriage,
Wow. So you had all of
so I
that
had to
coming
go
going
back
like back to
to.
back?
Mhm.
Wow.
So I didn't go back to the ship for like almost 6 months. They said I was a deserter. the,
Whoa.
the people. I guess somebody reached out to my sister and my mom. They were saying that Tom never came back to her duty station in Italy, so she's considered a deserter. And I was like, no. I was like, I've been in Norfolk. I was like, I found out I was pregnant. I missed my flight on purpose. I thought I was going to get in trouble for that, but I didn't. But
Right.
after all that stuff was over and done with, I went back to the mob to finish my
Well, did you
enlistment.
actually go
But
AWOL or you just like what happened?
no, I stayed on base.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I stayed on base for like about 6 months. After I did, was it? I don't know. I just stayed there for a while.
Hmm.
Till I was medically cleared to go back, and they're like, "Where do you want to go?" And my dumb ass was like, "Oh, I just want to go back to my ship."
Why do you
They're like,
say
"You
that?
can
Why
go
do you
anywhere
say
in the
because of my
world."
dumb ass?
Because they're like, you can go anywhere you want to. They're like, you can go to Japan. You
Yeah,
have
but La
orders to go to
Madalena, come on, it was
Japan.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I was like, I'll just go back to my ship. I was like, I had my stuff there.
I left my toothbrush there.
I left my clothes there. I want to go back. And it's really amazing because nobody ever touched my rack in like that department. Everything was still there. Like after 6 months, everybody was surprised that I came back.
Yeah. It sounds like they really
Yeah,
cared
that's
about you.
crazy. Kinda. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I honestly, Tom, like you said, it's not being recorded, but when I first called you and we talked about how long has it been, and I think you said 20 years, and it's been something like that. It's right around that time for sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think of
It's
you
been a long
often.
time.
I think of you in
No.
that time, memories, not just like because we were having fun and we were young, but like you have a way of making people just really care. Like you said, like, that tragedy happened to you with your dad, and people didn't think twice to, like, donate money, and, they kept your rack. Even though you were gone for 6 months, nobody messed with your stuff. And I think that says something about you.
Yeah. Oh, I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah, because if it was
But
my
it was
rack,
really.
I would have found somebody sleeping in that rack. Or somebody's dirty
Oh my
skivvies. They'd have piled up
god.
a bunch of dirty skivvies in my rack.
Oh my god.
Okay,
But
so let's
there
let's
was
let's
people
let's
there
fast
that.
forward then. So you got into a
Yeah.
little trouble in high school. Um,
Yeah.
you went to Utah. You would have forced a family. You get sent back
Mhm.
to the res with your mom, and that's when you
Mhm.
start drinking, right?
Yeah, that's when I started drinking. And then I think I didn't really start drinking heavily. I mean, I know we partied in Italy and stuff, but like I stopped when I had my children. I would drink every now and then, but it really got to me after I had my youngest because I had a difficult pregnancy with her. We both almost died. If I didn't
Oh
have a
man.
C-section, I was either going to die or she was going to die or we were both going to die. So that to be emergency C-section. And, I felt like a little, no, I didn't feel a little bit. I felt like a lot of resentment towards her. And,
Okay.
it's not her fault.
Right.
And then their dad was gone all the time. He was always deployed. And it was just me with his three little kids. I had a baby, I had an infant and two toddlers, and it was just very overwhelming.
Now your husband, he's the guy that I met when we were in Italy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He
Okay.
retired. He's here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys are
And
still
that's when I just
together,
started
or?
drinking a lot. Yeah, after we had a separation for like about 7 years because of my drinking.
Okay. All right. So let's go back. You have your first
Yeah.
child. It's a C-section. It's a life or death sort of situation, and you have some resentment for your daughter,
hmm
right?
Yeah, that's my youngest one. My youngest. My oldest, Nandi, she did good. And then my second, I also had a C-section with him, but my youngest was just a lot. I was on bed rest for like 30 days. I couldn't move or anything like that. I was like a really big whale.
Wow.
Yeah. But
Okay.
flash
So
forward,
yeah.
I was just drinking a lot. I was working still, but I would, just leave them at my neighbor's house or at the babysitter's house, and I didn't care. I was out drinking, and my husband came home. He found out what was going on, and it was okay for a little bit, but I just had like a lot of trauma that I was still, self-medicating with alcohol. I didn't want to deal with, like my dad's death, my
Mhm.
miscarriage, just being away from
Mhm.
home, and it just got to the point where I was constantly drinking all the time. I was always in jail, and so finally, their dad, he just got fed up with it, and he was like, "It's time for you to leave."
Wow.
And so in 2012, I left with just my two oldest and 3 bags of clothes, and I had to start all over from scratch. We were like couch surfing. My mom didn't really want us staying with her, and
Mhm.
I quit cold turkey, and I was doing really good for about a year and a half, and I met some idiot, a Navajo guy, and I just started drinking again, where I ended up driving back from the reservation back down here to Phoenix. It's like a 5-hour drive, and I stopped at the casino, and I was slamming back rum and coke, and
Wow.
I got my DUI.
Yeah.
And I went to jail. I almost, this is when I was going to medical assisting school. I almost didn't finish school, and I was like, something has to happen. And,
Yeah.
I was still sad. I was still, I was still devastated. I was heartbroken about, just being away from my youngest because my husband kept my youngest. And, he met somebody else, and I was just, on top of that, it was just like a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
And at one point, I tried killing myself
Okay.
just
How'd
because
you do
I swallowed a lot of my pills. It was a bunch of sleeping pills and
that?
some
Mm-hmm.
pain medicine. I took
Mm-hmm.
like about 3 handfuls,
Wow.
and I had like 3 cans of Four Loko. And my aunt, she works at the VA. She said that she was living with me at the time, and she said something told her to go back to the apartment. And she said
Wow.
she found me in my bed just shaking, like, I guess going
Wow.
into like a little bit of a seizure.
Right.
And she had to help me get dressed. I don't remember going to the VA, but I remember sitting there, and the doctor kept coming and asking me. He was like, "Do you have any intentions of hurting yourself?" I was like, "No, I'm not stupid," and he could
Right.
see,
You lied
my
to them?
eyes were like crazy. That's why I lied to him 3 times, and finally I just broke down. I said, "Yeah, I tried killing myself, but I'm mad because I'm still here. I'm awake." I was like, "I want to be."
Yeah. Why, Tom? Why'd you rather be dead?
Because I didn't have my own family. I just felt like such a failure.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that my kids wanted me around anymore. So I thought that was the best solution at the time.
What made you change your mind? What made you turn it around?
Well, I had to spend 3 weeks in the psych ward.
So a vacation, basically?
I spent I was on vacation for 3 weeks. I had finished school and all that stuff. And they had this new rehabilitation center opening up at the VA, and I was like one of the first 4 females that were there.
Uh-huh.
And it was 90-day stay, and in that time I guess you could say I faced my demons or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and uncover why I was self-medicating. Was because I missed my dad so much, and I felt like a failure, and and it's like it's not my fault. All that stuff happened.
Uh-huh.
Not all of it, but just childhood trauma, having to see my mom and my dad just be abusive, and having to step up and raise my 2 younger siblings
Right.
because they were still babies at the time, and I would always have to go get them because my mom and dad were too drunk to take care of them. And I had a lot of resentment towards them, but
Yeah. It's
I
understandable.
finally embraced it, and it's like I can either, keep feeling sorry for myself or keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And so I did really well in rehab. I finished my 90-day stay. I've been sober August 11th. It's going to be 8 years.
Wow. 8 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you. It's 7 years now, but it's going to be 8 years next year. I got sober on my son's
Okay.
birthday.
Okay. So
And
yeah, no,
after
no.
I
Take
went,
me back to that when after your suicide attempt, and you go to the psych ward, and you said you were in rehab for 90 days.
hmm
What? I mean, what happened there? Was this the first time you went to rehab, or?
yeah, that's the first time I ever went to rehab. It's the first time I actually reached out for help. Like, I was just
Okay.
denying a lot of things. Like, oh, I'm fine, I'll just drink and not have to worry about it. I just had
Kind of
like a
like
lot of
denial.
resentment. I had like a lot of A lot of anger towards a lot of people, and I just didn't know how to deal with it.
Right.
And so I would talk to my addiction therapist, and
Uh-huh.
she would ask me like so many personal things, and I would just get mad about it. He was like, "Why are you getting mad?"
Right.
I was like, "Because I don't want to talk about it. It hurts too much, and I've hurt so much people, or I've hurt so many people. I still feel guilty about it." He's like, "That's good." I was like, "How is it good?" He's like, "You're acknowledging why, why you act the way you act."
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And he's like, "You're a really good person, Tom or Dory." I mean, Lisa. They call me Lisa. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're very compassionate. You're very empathetic." And he's like, "You mask your sarcasm, or you mask your emotions
Right.
and
You got
how
a
you
black belt with
feel with
sarcasm.
sarcasm."
I've
And
heard it. Trust me.
he's like,
I felt it. I still got the bruises.
"Stop it." And he's like, "You'll say I'm just kidding when you really mean it." And I was like, "That's true."
Yeah.
And he's
Kind
like,
of
"You
sending
don't mean to be
mixed
mean."
messages.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You can't say that to me." No, I'm just kidding. But I'm still healing from it. It's a work in progress. Even though I've been sober for over 7 years, it's just
It never
I'm learning
stops.
about myself every day.
It
Mm-hmm.
never stops. Same here.
And so yeah, and I left rehab, and then I enrolled in school again to become a massage therapist because one of my old she was a school counselor. She got me into she reached out to me. She's like, "I think this is a really good fit for you, Dory." And I was like, "Well, why would you say that?" She's like, "It's massage therapy." She's like, she's like, "I've seen you transition from when you were at Anthem College." And she's like, "I know what you went through, and you weren't afraid to not expose, but like really put yourself out there on Facebook, and how some of the stuff that you've gone through, that you made it through." She's like, "That's not like that's like, I guess she said, rare. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people don't share their experiences like that."
Yeah. And I wish more people would, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this
Yeah.
podcast.
No. And she's like, "Massage therapy." She's like, "You're going to be a good fit for it." So I went and did it, and lo and behold, I'm pretty good at it.
Awesome.
I enjoyed it because I got to meet more people, and my clientele was with the rich folk. Just kidding. I mean, the people that were prominent in society. I guess I should say that were
Okay. I mean,
well
you don't
known.
have to give
And
away any names or anything like that.
I'm not. I had people that, I had guys that were professional football players for Arizona
Right.
Cardinals that were my clients, and I
Awesome.
had another gentleman that flew out from New York once a week just to see me for massage therapy. And he's like, "Oh, you're so tiny. And I just, I don't want to overwork you or whatever." And as soon as I started doing what I did, he was like, "Can you kind of back off?" He's like, "You're kind of strong for a little
Are you doing
person."
that like deep tissue massage?
I didn't think it was deep tissue because that's what he wanted. I was like, because we just can't, right off the bat, be all deep tissue because you can mess up people's muscle
Oh,
manipulation
did
and
not know
actually
that.
hurt them or whatever. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I was just doing a little bit of compressions, and I guess he doesn't stretch very much after he's done like lifting weights or after practice and stuff.
Yeah, he's real stiff.
Yeah, he's real stiff, but it was pretty good. I had a good run with that, and I used to work at a five diamond resort out in Queen Creek,
Okay.
and I was one of their best massage therapists. I was lead massage therapist wherever I went. So, I enjoyed what I did, but um, back to in when I was in rehab, I was diagnosed with bipolar depression. So for
Okay.
me, I was also diagnosed with ADHD, and So I found myself like getting bored with things,
Right.
and then I would just go back to school. And then my last school I went to was to become an esthetician, and I did amazing at that too. I mean, I'm not bragging, but my teacher's
Right.
like, "You're amazing," and everything. And the spa hired me back where I was working at, and I was, it was just, I guess, amazing to
You
everybody.
need some
But
coffee?
yeah,
So
but
so they diagnosed you with bipolar. How are you handling all that?
I take medication for it.
And that
It
works for you?
because I have my low days. I have my low days and my high days. Like when I have my manic days, it kind of scares me because I do a lot of things out of impulse. Like I've been
Right.
going to the casino a lot.
Right.
I think I win when I go.
So do you feel it
But
coming? Do you know when that mania starts to come on?
yeah, I start to
What
get a
does
little
that
bit
feel
more
like?
hyper. I start to get more. I start to talk a lot more. I
Mm-hmm.
start cleaning.
Hmm.
I'm like a clean freak,
You have
and
like a
so I
lot of
know when it's
energy?
coming in. And I have a lot of energy, and then I know when my dark days are coming. Like my really low days is when
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'll go to work, but I'll come home and I'll just stay in my room. I have my room blacked out because I work nights, but at the same time, I'm just like, I don't want anybody talking to me. I cry for days.
Mm-hmm.
I get really
Are you talking
angry. I
to
get
anyone?
really irritable. hmm
Like a
I still talk
therapist?
to my therapist. hmm I
Okay.
talk to my psychotherapist, and
How
he's
often
like,
do you
it's,
do that?
it's like once a month.
Okay. Does that
It
work
should
for
be
you?
more, but it works for me because I talk a lot about stuff, and he's just like, he's like, it's a good thing that you recognize when you're going to have a low point and when you're having a high point. He's like, because most
Right.
people that are diagnosed with bipolar, depression or ADHD, they just deny it and they just do whatever they want because that's that's them. He's like, but he's like, you're different because he's like, you recognize it, but you also need at the same time to learn how to control it. He's like, you can't let that depression just take over your life. And he's
Right.
like, when you feel like it, he's like, when you feel like you just want to just be in your room, he's like, try to engage with your family, try to be outside, try to exercise and all that stuff. But it gets overwhelming.
Definitely.
So, especially with where I work at now, working with people that have serious mental illnesses, also people like that are coming off of alcohol or coming off of drugs.
The drugs and the mental illness, yeah, it's a bad combination. Trust me,
Mhm.
I know.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. And I'm just like, wow. And I was like, I guess they don't have any support, which I'm very lucky to have because I have my mom that supports me and my aunt and my sisters and my brothers. I have like a big old support system.
So what
And,
kind of
they'll
place is
check in
this
on
that you
me.
work at now, Tom? Is it like a rehab center or?
It's called Community Bridges. It's a detox facility. It's where patients come in and they have to get medically cleared to go to like a rehabilitation center or to go to like a halfway house
Right, they want to
or
make sure that they're
to
completely clean and off drugs, right?
yeah, before they can get placed. But a lot of them, they're like repeat people that come in. They just want a place to stay, and they think that they can get drugs all the time, but they can't do that. They're people that come in that are coming off opiates. They're looking for methadone, and we don't
Right.
do methadone.
No, you
We
don't
just
do that one. Okay.
no, we do Aldol so you can calm down.
So what is your job at
Tranquilizing.
this place?
I'm a medical assistant. I do intakes. I also do lab work. I do vitals. I make sure that the patients are okay. Make sure that they don't die on us. I guess basically, like if they have
The
high blood
physical,
pressure.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that's why we do vitals every 4 hours, especially for the ones coming off the alcohol, which
Uh-huh.
is really crazy because I guess that's the most scariest one, especially when they have seizures. We don't know when they're going to have a seizure, so that's why we check on them. We have a bed check, or I have a bed check that does. He does bed checks every 15 minutes. Plus, on top of that, because we also have psychiatric inpatients, they're a danger to themselves or others.
Right.
We don't want them killing any of the other patients.
Right.
Or if they have like a history of seizures or whatever, we don't want them dying on our watch. So we have to
Right.
make sure that everybody's okay. And if they freak out, we can't be like, calm down. We have to redirect them. And for
Right.
me, it's really scary because I've had a lot of patients just come up to my face and be like, fuck you, bitch. I need my
Yeah.
medication.
And
They
I
try
know
to
you. I
be,
know that attitude you used to have. Yeah.
so,
That's got to be hard.
yeah, so it is hard. And it's really hard for me to bite my tongue because I know it's the drugs talking. And I know a lot of them, they have auditory and visual hallucinations. And they're battling with that. So I have to take a step back and be like, it's not me, it's them.
Yeah.
And it's very, very, very hard. Sometimes I have to leave the unit because it just gets overwhelming. And I'm just like, what am I doing here?
So
But,
how does your personal experience affect you with your job today?
mm, I try to reach out to them, especially the ones that are coming off alcohol, because I don't know anything about coming off the opiates.
Right.
I tell them my story. I was like, yeah, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've been to jail. I've lost everything. I was like, I have to start all over from scratch. And then, there's that one person that you always touch, and they'll come back and be like, you know what, your story inspired me, and I'm trying to live better, trying to get my kids back. And he was like, and they'll be like, I'm glad we came, and I'm glad you got to share your story with me, even though I was being an asshole to you at the time. I was like, I understand, it's not you, it's whatever you're coming off of. I just hope that you're in a better place now. And,
Right.
it's really nice when they come back and say, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for, letting us know that it's okay to want help. And it's okay,
To
to
talk
be
about
off
it.
the alcohol. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I know in AA that a big part of it is you got someone, you get a sponsor or whatever, and they help you get off alcohol. But then sort of like you have I don't want to say a duty or an obligation, but it's like try to help someone else. And then
Oh,
and that kind of helps you.
I never did AA.
No?
No, I did more of a spiritual,
Uh-huh.
traditional
Tell
recovery
me
for
about
me
that.
because I'm Native American.
Right. So
I
also
had
you
a
had
lot
like
of
okay.
a traditional
Well, tell me about
practitioner,
that. I've never heard of that.
okay. Well, when I was going through um, my battle with alcoholism, my mom would reach out to certain practitioners, traditional practitioners, and she would be like, "Can you say a prayer for her because she's going through this." She's also a veteran because we don't know what she's been through, and
Mm-hmm.
I would have to start all over, and tell them what I went through, and they would hold prayers and do traditional ceremonies where, ooh, excuse me, it's cold here, where I don't know how to explain it, Rich. I don't know
Is it
how.
do they play music, dancing?
It's more like traditional prayers. It's for a few
Okay.
hours, and then one ceremony I did. It was all night. It was to restore harmony. It's called Hojon. Where like where everything is balanced out, like your mind, your thinking, your
Uh-huh.
how you do stuff on a daily basis, and how you interact with people, how you talk to people. You're supposed to
Uh-huh.
be careful how you talk to people, how you address people, it's basically how you want to be treated,
Okay.
and just being in sync with with traditional teachings. I don't know how to explain it, Rich. I'm sorry. I'm bad
That's
at that.
okay. No, no. It sounds to me like it's kind of like a meditation also too.
You could
That
call it that, yeah.
you're kind of focusing on everything. Because I know
Yeah,
when I
you have to be
meditate,
mindful. Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
now I'm saying that when I meditate, or when I was kind of like going through that little meditative phase, a lot of it was being in the moment, sort of being present
Mhm.
and recognizing
Yeah.
everything, and tearing down all the kind of BS and recognizing what you're really feeling. If you're really upset, are you scared about something, and just being okay with that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a long, long progress, or a
Yeah.
long, hard road for me to finally grasp who I am as a woman, as a traditional woman, as a Navajo woman. I have responsibilities. I have my children,
Yeah.
that look up to me, and I just can't be saying crazy stuff like, oh, I'm going to kill you because you're in my face. I'm going to fuck you up and blah, blah. You can't say stuff like that.
No.
Because not only am I not speaking for myself, but I'm speaking for my children. So you have to be mindful of your words
Right.
and how you treat people. And it's just, it was an eye opener for me because I never realized how terrible I was. I never realized how awful I was to those that loved me. I just pushed them away and I didn't want their help. I was just like, it's all about me. And if you're not going to be talking about me, then I don't want to hear it. Like, feel sorry for me, have a pity party for me. And they didn't want that from me.
Right.
That's like, acknowledging the negative stuff. And they didn't want that. And they're like, no, you can do better. We know that, you're not, this is not the Lisa that we know. And, that's not you. You can't be like that because you have two girls, that look up to their mom, and you just can't be talking crazy all the time. So that took a lot for me to realize. And when I sit, like some days when I'm just by myself at home and I look at, looking through my photo album and, see their little tiny faces, it breaks my heart knowing that I put them through so much and they didn't deserve any of it.
But your relationship with them is a lot better now.
It is.
So even with all
They
that,
like
they
seeing,
still love you. You're their mom.
yeah.
It's a powerful thing. I'm
And
so
I think it
happy
was
you are
like
where
a
you
big,
are right now, Tom.
oh, thank you. Me too. Took a long time to get here.
Yeah. Your friend was really right. That says something about somebody to go through all that and to admit, where you were wrong and where you were weak, and to work on yourself, to grow. So many people I've
Yeah.
met in my life that I knew them in high school, and if I see them today, they're the same person they were. They haven't changed at all. Like, Jesus, man.
Yeah. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, if it
But it's
works for you,
really,
sure,
like,
man. But I don't know me. I definitely gone through a lot of phases. I've changed so much.
yeah, because you're married and you have kids.
That's such a big part of it. Oh my God. I had no idea. I used to think my parents were crazy because they would worry so much about
uh,
me. And now that I'm a parent and I'm worrying all the time, I'm like, oh, my parents weren't crazy.
they just
It's
love
just the love
me.
you
Darn
have for
it.
your kids. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nuts. But I
It's
wouldn't trade
amazing,
it. I
now
wouldn't
that
change
I'm
it
a,
for anything.
yeah, I wouldn't either. They've opened up my eyes to a lot of things, and especially being sober and being present every Christmas, every holiday, their birthdays.
Exactly.
It's amazing just to see, the light in their eyes when they know that I'm not going to be drunk and being stupid or having their dad call the cops on me and I end up in jail.
Yeah.
It's really weird. And I think it's weird for my husband now to see me sober and to actually have a job that I love.
Yeah.
And, for them to see me put on my scrubs, put my stethoscope around my neck, and I'm like, okay, I'm off to work. I was like, okay, Mom, be careful. Don't let the
It's like
crazy
you're a
people
different
get to
person.
you. Yeah.
It's like, who are you?
That's not mom. And it's just really, for me, it's amazing. I think I've done a good job so far.
It
And
is. I'm surprised you
I,
guys are still together all these years. How long you guys been together?
um, see, we met in '98,
Oh my
22
god.
years, minus
Oh my
7 year
god.
break that we had.
Yeah, yeah. That's okay. We'll look past that. But
Yeah.
most people I know from the military that married somebody while they were enlisted or whatever, that marriage did not work.
No.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing, that he's still around. We talked about our differences, and just recently he was like, I just want to let you know that you're loved and I appreciate you, and that's all I've ever wanted to hear from him. And I finally got to hear it, and I broke down
Oh.
at work because he left a message on my phone. I was crying. They're like, "What's going on with you, Dory? You're always crying."
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
leave me alone. Gotta process stuff,
But it's
But I
important
have
to have
amazing
that,
people that
right?
I work with. Yeah.
I try to make sure my kids and my wife know that I love them. As often as I can.
And that they keep me going strong every day because I was here. I love you, mommy. Thank you, mommy. We appreciate you.
Oh.
And I was like, oh. And they're like, okay, it's time for my phone bill. I was like, okay. So I go to work. I go look for my kids.
That's what I do. I do this to take care of my family, and that's it. That's
hmm
my thing. Yeah, I
And I
take
like this
pride in
job
it.
because, yeah, I get paid so well, and they treat
Well,
us
that's always good.
so well at where I work at. And, they listen to what
And
we
health
have to
insurance and
say.
everything.
hmm I have Blue Cross Blue Shield. Free
That's
dental
good.
and vision.
Good. I need that now. I can't see. I can't read. I can see far. I just can't read.
I think that comes with age because I have to lower my glasses to see up close because it gets
Uh
all
huh.
like blurry, and I'm like having to lower my glasses. Like, oh, okay, I'm old now. I think I need
Yeah.
bifocals.
Yeah. I have a pair. I don't wear them, but I have a pair. I lost my glasses
Yeah,
the other
man.
day at work, man. And people were just laughing because I was trying to read papers and stuff. And I'm like, I look like an old guy, like with my hand, all far away from my face. Yeah.
Mm. But yeah, I'm proud of myself of how far I've come.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Do
it's
you
crazy.
how often do you well, I know you talk to a counselor, I said once a month, and you're taking
hmm
medication, but you're like your spiritual practice. Do you pray often? Do you talk to God? Like what do you do? Do you have like a
Um,
routine to help you?
mm, Most times, we're taught at a young age to wake up before the sun comes up because in our culture, that's when the holy people, the holy deities are around. And when you
Uh-huh.
say your prayers, they hear you and, they guide you and they protect you and, they help you along your journey in life.
Wow.
And I say that every morning. I say my prayers every morning.
Every morning?
I'll come outside and, you know, offer corn pollen to the
Okay.
Creator and, just ask for blessings, to help me along my life, along my journey and, just pray for protection and guidance and, to be mindful of what comes out of my mouth, which is very hard still for me to do because I can get angry sometimes and
Yeah.
it's not good.
Yeah. It sounds like you're in a better
But
place now.
I am. I'm happy. I'm happy my family's back together. We all live under the same roof. We're,
Yeah.
a few years back, they were still living with my brother, and we didn't have a house of our own or a place of our own. We were just couch surfing, and it's like we can't do this our whole lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband and I were looking at a house now, so hopefully that comes through in March.
So that's the next big step.
Mm-hmm. So
That's awesome. Thank you.
I'm happy.
Like,
Thank
that's
you,
great.
Rich, for letting me share
Thank you
my
so much,
story and
Tom.
for listening. No problem.
Oh, thank you for sharing. And I'm sure that people will relate to what you're saying. And I think that listening to you go through all your struggles, I think that's going to help some other people too.
I hope so. I hope I reach somebody
You are.
before
You are.
it's
You
too
will.
late.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you,
exactly.
Rich, for reaching out to me.
Okay, Tom.